Hi, I'm Ilga. When you start thinking over your car soundproofing, the first thing you do is study the materials, watch videos, I hope always, and vlogs to get the idea what, where and how to use. It's pretty clear that you can't soundproof your car without materials. But what kind of tools will you need? What spare parts should you have to dismantle the car? And more importantly, to assemble it as it was. Today we're considering the list of basic tools and spare parts without which you better not start soundproofing. Bear in mind that in the car, not everything is fixed with the plastic or metal clips. Many parts are fastened together with bolts, such things as seats, windows, a transmission tunnel or trunk. In a perfect world, you better use a screw gun. We do actually use it, but in case you don't have one, you need a ratchet or multi-bit screwdriver. They'll help you to get to the metal surface. Unfortunately, you won't find a universal bit. For different cars you need screwdrivers of different shapes. So if you're choosing a ratchet, don't hesitate to buy one with a half-inch drive for large bolts and screws, and with a quarter-inch drive for small bolts and screws. A plastic fasteners remover will not only help you to dismantle the car, but also to assemble it back without losing parts. Actually, its area of application is much larger. Let me describe it briefly. You can use a remover to push out plastic and metal fasteners, be it door panels or rocker panels. Instead of wresting an element from a car body, you can gently bend it off and elegantly push the fasteners out, saving the panel, the fastener and the remover. With this tool you can also push out spaces in the trunk. Besides, it's a universal lever, the usage of which is only limited by your imagination. Of course, within reasonable limits. But this tool is really handy. You also need it for the removal of a standard vibration absorber, but only if it's necessary and won't damage the surface. A plastic remover is an ultimate tool for removing numerous plastic elements of the car. Of course, you may use any flat and long tool to detach plastic parts. However, you don't want to damage fragile plastic, do you? So a plastic remover is a must-have. I would recommend that you not buy the cheapest removers, they probably break down right after unpacking. It would be perfect to have removers of different sizes and shapes, but if you have at least one, it's great. I've included this point for a reason. These tools should be used for very precise work in hard-to-reach places, for example for unplugging jacks. Of course, large jacks can be easily unplugged with fingers, but the connectors of the ceiling lamp or the wheel won't be unplugged easily. This screwdriver is so thin that it can remove almost everything. By the way, you can use it to hook various clamp blocks, plastic or metal without a trace. A hook will help you to get to the most difficult places when dismantling the car. I'll use the example of a ceiling lamp again. It's especially inconvenient to take it down when the panel is already released, but the fastening cables won't let it go. In this case, you need any thin screwdriver or a hook. You need a utility knife for cutting any materials. I should emphasize that there are devotees who use scissors for the purpose, but I wouldn't recommend it. The knife will save you time and energy, and the quality of the cut will be the same. Don't forget to buy replacement blades for your knife, because they inevitably go blunt and break off. Again, if you're a scissors fan, be ready to clean them regularly off mastic. It's rather unpleasant, you better not check. You also need a knife to pierce air cavities when mounting vibration absorbing materials. As I continually repeat, it's crucial. Probably you'll get mad saying that damn capitalists are trying to sell you another piece of metal again. But thanks to this very tool, you'll ensure sufficient conditions for vibration-absorbing materials to perform their functions, absorb vibrations of metal and protect it against corrosion. Vibration absorbers' adhesion strength depends on the quality of pressing which is achieved when the pressing roller is used. Let's look closer. The roller consists of a solid wood handle with a metal cylinder on the end. In our case, it's 40 mm wide. The surface of the cylinder is textured. That's why the roller has good cohesion with the aluminum foil cover materials and doesn't slide when being pressed. The weight of the roller makes it easier to press the material and helps to press it properly. If you're not ready to buy different rollers, buy 40 mm wide one with a short handle. It can be used indoors and inside the car. With present-day soundproofing methods, there can be only two situations when you might need a heat gun. I'm talking about the maximum and optimum methods, which use BMAS Bomb Premium and BMAS Bomb Drive in the floor and in the trunk respectively. Other materials don't require heating, so if we're going to use Profit Plus or GB Good Balance 4 Max on the floor, skip this point. To those daredevils who are ready to work with BMAS, I wish you good luck and find a heat gun. So you dismantled the car and the shiny metal is everywhere. Similarly, it's high time to apply the material or not. There's one more step which is quite logical but is still ignored by many people. Some people think that proper pressing will be enough. However, the dirtier the mounting surface is, the worse the adhesion will be. Take into account the standard anti-corrosion substances, removal, as well as mud and dust. All of these should be cleaned off before using soundproofing materials. While doing it, check the condition of a standard vibration insulator and, in case the car is not new, the spots of corrosion, which should also be cleaned because soundproofing materials shouldn't be mounted on corroded metal. Standard soundproofing will also leave the vestiges of glue like in Kia, Hyundai and BMW. You also need a degreaser to remove them. In modern cars, there are lots of spare fasteners, and when you start dismantling the car, you are to break something. Also, there can be one-use clips. Car manufacturers sometimes fasten some clips improperly, and you might need to replace them even in a new car. Car manufacturers sometimes fasten some clips improperly, and you might need to replace them even in a new car. Breakages are unavoidable if you don't have experience in the car dismantling. There's nothing wrong about it. Simply use the new fasteners. Each car has particular fasteners, so make a research beforehand and order those you'll need, or do it after the breakage. It's strange to say, but you might need an assistant. An enthusiast willing to dismantle a car and interested in soundproofing. You may ask why. For example, imagine you are to soundproof the front panel. It won't be easy to take it out of the car by yourself. When dismantling doors, you'll need to adjust windows, and you again need assistance. And it won't be easy to put the soundproof front panel back in its place, and it won't weigh less. Ceiling panels and seats weigh a lot and require the efforts of more than one person. Besides, working together is more fun. Especially soundproofing takes several days, and it does. So that's all about the basic tools, spares and friends. You also need various heads of special equipment, which is hard to describe for each particular car. Good luck with soundproofing and see you